Well, good afternoon folks, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again with the first of this week's reviews. We are in Greece, among the islands, and this is KARPATHOS Airport in Karpathos Island in Greece, Lima Golf Kilo Papa. This is a payware scenery by MXI Design, and we're looking at the release version 1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. The download is 864 meg and it installs at 1.8 gig. It's currently available from both SimMarket and the Orbix site. Give you the SimMarket price. This includes VAT. There actually isn't much difference between the two vendors. SimMarket's €11.99, which equates to roughly $12.99 US, or £10.13 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, but which of course could vary depending on your country of purchase. First off, this is a nice little scenery. I like flying out towards Greece. The Greek islands are wonderful, and it's nice to see many little islands and airports being represented, and this is no exception. A nice little scenery. Reasonably simple, but enough detail to keep you happy, and I think really quite a nice competitive price for what's available. So let's look at the features first. So features, we have accurately modelled terminal and airport buildings, up-to-date ground layouts, parallax effects on windows for depth, PBR materials implemented for all models, custom CGL aerial imagery, and a detailed handmade terrain model for the entire airport area. So they've done a bit of work here to make their version fit in with the terrain, with a little bit of alterations here and there, and that'll be interesting to see close up. So those are the features. Let's look at some history now. Okay, history. There's not a lot of it, but we'll go through it anyway. Karpathos Island National Airport, Lima Golf Kilo Papa, is a public-use international airport owned and operated by the Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority, or HCAA. It's located on the southern end of the island of Karpathos in southern Greece. It's actually just east of Heraklion. The airport first operated in 1970, and it had very limited facilities, just a small building measuring only 500 square meters. As of 2023, its buildings now cover an area of 12,500 square meters. Currently, airport facilities were constructed between 2005 and 2009, with the inauguration of the new airport terminal taking place in July 2009. A bus route connects Karpathos Airport directly with the capital of the island, Pagidia. Taxis are also available at the designated waiting area. Both Olympic Airways and Sky Express operate regular scheduled flights between the island and the Greek capital Athens, while some 11 other airlines operate seasonal charters into and out of the airport. These include Austrian Airlines, Eurowings, Finnair, Smartwings, Volair and TUI Netherlands. In 2019, the airport saw over 267,000 passengers pass through, with over 3,400 aircraft movements. So there you are, some history. A busy airport, especially in the summer season, with regular visits. Let's look at the runway situation now. Okay, runways. So it's now 5:15 in the morning local time. I've lowered the lighting, as you can see, so we get a better indication. Karpathos operates a single runway 1230, measuring 7,870 feet or 2,399 meters, and is made from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 66 feet or 20 meters and sits within the GMT UTC +2 hours time zone. Now, Greece does indeed observe daylight saving time, or DST, and since, like the UK, it has moved forward 1 hour for the summer, the airport is currently +2 hours ahead of the UK. So we start with runway 30, and we're looking down the throat of it now. And this runway features high-intensity runway lighting, approach lighting system, runway end identifier lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And pretty much as we can see, we've got it right here. They've got the approach lighting system. There are the two runway end identifier lights, the two white flashing lights. You have the high intensity runway lighting and the PAPIs. What looks like a 3-bar PAPI here on the left side. The other thing I shall point out here before we look at the other end, as you can see to the left, this is a taxiway still painted and set up as a runway. And there's a note on the chart. It says that the taxiway to the west of the runway is still marked and lighted as a runway, but is only used as a taxiway. Do not mistake the taxiway for the main runway. But as you can see, approaching 30, you've got the approach lighting system, which should lead you into the correct runway. But whatever you do, don't land on this one. And here at 5:15 in the morning, I don't see any lighting on here, so that's useful. So let's go down and look at the other end, runway 12. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 12. And as you can see, it's pretty much correct. There are no runway end identifier lights here, although there should be. According to the chart, you should have runway end identifier lighting system on this end. But I don't see any. The PAPIs are correct on the left side. Precision approach path indicators there, and you've got the high intensity runway lighting. You've also got this large turning area that gives you an extended takeoff capability. Let's get a bit closer to the end here and see if we do indeed see any runway end identifier lights. So here we are up close, runway 12, and they are indeed missing. So you should have the two white flashing lights either side of the runway to show the runway end identifier lighting system. I'll put the chart up so you can see. PAPIs are correct. Here we've got the 4-bar PAPI, so I suspect maybe just one light is missing or hidden by a bush or something there. So approaches, runway 12, this end, you've got a VOR approach option only, and in fact you have a VOR approach option only at the other end as well. So no ILS, no RNP capability, it's VOR only, so essentially it's going to be visual, and it's going to be a nice challenge. So that does it for runways. There are no jetways here, so let's get down to the airport itself proper and have a good look and see what it's like. Okay, so let's start the main tour. It's 8:30 in the morning. We're at the runway 12 northern part of the airport. Threshold is there. Here's the taxiway that's still marked out as a runway, and here you can see the fence line and this nice sort of beautiful coastline here. So as you can see, the ground detail is really nice. Windsock there on the left and there on the right from the runway that's now used as a taxiway. And this all looks really nice. Not entirely sure what that is on the left. Looks like the control tower. So there it is. I'm pretty sure it is indeed the control tower. It's not marked. The terminal is marked, but the tower location isn't marked on the chart. But that, I think, is pretty much the control tower itself. And as you can see, we're inside the tower, but there's no internal development. And there it is seen from the other side, and here of course you can see the fence line as well. All looks pretty good. So as we approach the ramp here, you can see the taxiway centre line. We've also got blue airfield edge lights. And quite nice detailed little trees and shrubs. All looks pretty good here. Now we're approaching the main ramp. I can't see anything looking like a control tower here, so that must have been hit. Here you can see various bits of clutter. So there you can see the baggage ramp system where people check in from inside and the bags go out to the baggage system and they drive out to the aircraft. And there's another view, and we're looking at the building, which is really nicely done. Nice little bit of weathering. Very impressive brickwork there too. And there we've got the main building itself, all fairly simplified, nothing to write home about. A couple of ground workers there, and yeah, all looks pretty good. And there's a high level view across the ramp as well. So there's my aircraft parked on the stand here. I think it's stand number 2. As you can see, no jetways or anything here, you've just got the stands, and there in the distance you can see part of the terminal as well. Today we've got the Phoenix Airbus A320 VAP Air aircraft parked on the stand for a change. All looks pretty good. And there's the other end of the terminal. Once again, we've got a few ground engineers, which is nice, and various bits and pieces. And there's this end of the terminal. You've got a couple of fuel trucks, some stairs and catering vehicle there. And this, it would seem, is the entrance to the Air Force Base, part of the airport itself. And there's an overview looking airside, showing you the main ramp from this side. So a little tour landside, see what we've got. As you can see, plenty of cars parked in a car park. And the terminal itself looks good. Various buses and vehicles. Name of the airport in Greek there. Plenty of taxis on the stands. And there should be a gate there to the left, because you really don't want people walking in from landside. And as you can see, a little bit of parallaxing there, as described in the features list. So landside again, all the appropriate signage, which looks good. And here you've got the car park. Cars are all, from what I can see, pretty much parked correctly in their slots, which is something a lot of sceneries don't have. But no, landside looks really quite nice here. And this is where the development ends, 3D, and now you go to sort of photo scenery here to go out towards the airport entrance itself. We've got a few buildings out here too. So just a couple of close-up shots of the building landside. All nicely done, nothing to write home about, but it all looks perfectly acceptable. And as you can see, the cars and the buses all nicely modelled. Nothing slapdash about them, they're really quite good. And there's an example there of the signage, and you've got a Greek police car parked up there too. Okay, so we're going to pass from landside to airside. We're going to go out towards the taxiway. Okay, you've got buses and vehicles on the taxiways, which isn't always a good thing, especially if they go out to the runway. There's only one place they can go to here, and that's out to the runway. But here you can see there are various little buildings and bits and pieces out here, and some nice terrain modelling. There's also additional stands out here by the threshold of runway 30. And there we can see you've got an aircraft model. Not sure if that's in with the scenery or it's one of mine. But as you can see, it's all good. It's a beautiful little scenery, you know. It's been really nicely done. And there's a high level shot showing you the airport area, main ramp area, with the terminal All looks really nice in the early morning sun. Up there on the hill by the mountains there, you can see we've got wind turbines. Really nice. So that was the daytime. Let's have a look at dusk. Okay, just before 7:30 in the evening local time. It's mid-July, 8th of July 2024 is the date of this review, and we have real time. And you can see the lighting's just came on a couple of minutes ago, and all looks pretty nice from here. There you can see the sun going down in the distance. You've got runway lighting there, blue airfield edge lights as well, which are going to help you. And generally this looks really nice. And there we're looking at the approach to runway 30, and that bus is coming back, which fills me with hope, because it obviously means it hasn't gone onto the runway necessarily. Okay, so let's get down to the ramp where you pilots really want to see things, and have a look and see what's there. So a little tour across the main airside ramp, and you can see the lighting is quite subtle. It's not too bright, it's not really been overdone, which is something I like. The light sources are correct, the stanchions are providing the light. It's nice, it's fine, it looks very pleasant. So I was on stand number 3, not number 2. But all looks good. And another quick pass over the airside area. I mean, the lighting, no complaints. It really does look perfectly pleasant. The stands are nicely lit, certainly at dusk. And yes, I was on stand number 3. And there you can see the blue airfield edge lights that give you the access and entry point out of the stand apron towards the taxiway. So a little tour of landside over the car park. Again, the lighting is really quite pleasant, it's very subtle. Can't see any asobo glows floating around. There's not an awful lot to this scenery. The one thing that's missing, of course, is people. But you know, for just under €12, it's perfectly okay. It's competitive, but I would like to see some people added. But very nice. So a couple of close-up shots of the ramp. There's my aircraft parked on stand 1, stand 3 even. Little bit of parallaxing that you can see, but it's kind of a bit blown away because the light is very powerful down here. And just a quick look inside, you can see no internal development in the buildings at all. All done outside with parallaxing. But all looks perfectly acceptable. For the price, perfectly acceptable, no problems at all really. And there's a high level shot showing you the main ramp and landside. It's great, it's really no issues at all really. As you can see, blue airfield edge lights, no real entry signs at all as such really. And here we are looking at the entry to runway 30, the main approach light runway. As you can see, there are no entry or marcation signs here either side of the runway. It's all pretty simple, which I think you would expect for an airport like this. Not sure if that's the case in the real world. Maybe somebody who lives out here or has been out here regularly can tell me if the taxiway and runway identification markings are actually there and they're missing in the scenery. I don't know. But there's enough here for you to find your way onto and off the runway, I think. And there's an overview looking to where the sun's gone down. It's really nice, very nice indeed. So that was a look at dusk. Let's drop it down to night time now. Okay, 10 PM local time. As you can see, it's completely dark now, sun's gone. And there's the main ramp area, which looks to be reasonably well lit, landside as well. A mixture of tungsten and standard LED lighting. Looks pretty good. So there are your blue airfield edge lights. There's runway 12 threshold there in the distance. Here's the control tower, which does have some ambient lighting, which I'm happy about. That's good. There you can see the red lights that are attached to the wind farm. And there's the approach to runway 30 with the approach lighting. It's all pretty cool. You'll need your nose gear light, but apart from that, no real problem. So while we're at it, here's the view from the flight deck. When you park up and hold up on stand 3, this is the view you will get. You know, it's fine. The scenery is very nice, nicely done, nicely modelled. But it would be nice to see some passengers. The only thing that lets these airports down is passengers. I mean, I get it, for this sort of price you can't really complain. But if this was to be a really impressive scenery, I'd like to see some passengers and a few more staff, at least around the building, just to bring it to life a little more. I get that they've decided not to model the interior of the terminal or the control tower. There's enough here for pilots, and the airport's at a competitive price. I get that, but it would be nice to see some people. That's the only criticism I've got right now. But there's the view from the flight deck, and looking out the first officer's side. So as you can see, the main ramp at night time, there's plenty of lighting close to the terminal to enable you to find the stands. Here you've got the stand markers. That's number 2, that's number 1, and you've got this one here. We're on number 3, so no real issues there. But as you can see, you'll need your nose gear light to find your way out to the runway. So that does it for night time. Let's bring the dawn up, and again, hopefully I'm in the right position. Let's see what we've got. So there we go, 5:15 in the morning. As you can see, the sun's coming up and you get this lovely red glow on the airport, which I like to see, and yeah, just gives the airport some atmosphere, really does. And there's a view looking across landside, runway 30 up here on the left. And there's the sun coming up in the east. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, it's early afternoon and time to wrap up this review and give you my conclusions. Okay, this is a very simple scenery, but it's a very nice one. Very good competitive price. I think sort of €12 is perfectly acceptable for the work that's been done here. They've taken a sort of a basic airport and modelled it up, and yeah, it's perfectly acceptable. Looks really nice. Not sure about whether the taxiway signs are missing from the real airport, and some of these Greek airports don't have them. I understand that. Maybe somebody who's been there can tell me in the comments whether taxiway signs should be there or whether they're actually missing in this scenery. No real criticisms, certainly not for the price, and it's a nice scenery, well modelled, and it sits very nicely into the island itself. Only criticism, like I say, I would like to see some passengers. They've got a line of taxis, a couple of coaches and stuff there landside. Would be nice to see 1 or 2 people, 1 or 2 families landside there waiting to go inside and check in. And who knows, maybe a couple of people outside, airside, with an airline representative waiting to go onto the aircraft. You know, it'd just be nice. It just brings the airport to life a bit more. That's really my only criticism, but I can't complain. It's a lovely little scenery. And I did buy this, by the way. I wasn't given it, but I do like the Greek islands, so I got it because we will fly in here. And it'll be a challenge. VOR approaches at both ends. We don't have the luxury of an instrument landing system or RNPs. You've got to do it by VOR. So it'll be a challenge to bring an airliner in here. So there you are, folks. Karpathos Airport on Karpathos Island in Greece, Lima Golf Kilo Papa. This is the payware scenery by MXI Design, version 1, the release version for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Downloads 864 meg and it installs at 1.8 gigs. Available currently from both SimMarket and Orbix, and there really isn't a lot of difference between the prices when you add the VAT. It's all around about €12. SimMarket's current price €11.99, which equates to roughly $12.99 US, or £10.13 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which may of course vary depending where you are in the world when you make your purchase. It's a nice scenery, nothing serious to write home about, but typical of MXI design, nice quality. The buildings are lovely, really nicely modelled. The cars are all in their slots. No real complaints at all. Just would be nice to see some people. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a nice little scenery. No hesitation in recommending it. Certainly not at €12. Very nice indeed. And if you love the Greek islands like I do, there's lots to see within helicopter flying distance from here too. The airport is served regularly by the various airlines, so lots of reasons to fly in here. So if you've been on the fence about this, I hope the reviews helped you. Thank you very much for joining me and for supporting my channel. I'd like to thank one particular user as well, who's just bought me just bought me a load of copies. Thank you very much indeed. That really helps. I'm a one-man band, and I purchase something like 40-45% of the sceneries that I review, so that you, the customer, can get a good idea of whether or not they're any good and whether it's worth you spending your hard-earned cash to get them. So thank you to anybody and everybody who's bought me copies and helped me out. That's really great. So stay tuned this week. Next scenery, we'll be going out to Hawaii. I don't think I've ever been out to Hawaii before, and we're going to be looking at Lihue International Airport out on the island of Hawaii, and we'll have a close look at that and see just how good that is. It promises to be quite a nice little airport, so if you're wondering about whether you should get it, hopefully we'll review it for you in a way that will help you make your mind up. So thanks for joining me. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.